Welcome to Modern Day Messengers, episode 61. We're here at Black Rifle Coffee, and as always, we enjoy this incredible setup. As you can see, Tactus Squatch has joined us again. He enjoyed being on our podcast so much, he just had to come back. And that's the star of the show. It's not me or Trey, it's Tactus Squatch.
That's right.
But if you look at our table, we've got a few products from Black Rifle Coffee. I have Blackbeard's Delight right here. This is personally one of my favorite. We always have Blackbeard's Delight at my house. Trey, what you got on your side?
Well, it looks like I have Beyond Black. That's actually what I drink every Friday morning coming up here.
That's what's in my
and
right now.
And they got these little Yeti tumblers, man, and they're super cool. Yeah, I've actually got one like yours.
Yep.
Yep.
So y'all come up here, check it out. Black Rifle Coffee in Ruston. As you can see, they've got all kind of shirts. They've got hats. They've got mugs. Y'all seen it on a previous episode, the pink grenade mug. They still have that available. All the sales go to that. Go to help women who have suffered and are dealing with breast cancer.
Yep.
So we are 100% behind that. You know, get behind and support the women who have struggled with that and just give back to that community. So, as y'all see, we have a guest here. Kathleen Richard. She is the executive director for Life Choices.
Yep.
And we are so glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. We have looked forward to it since, we got to talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Schedules didn't align originally, but they are lined up now, and I am super excited about it.
Absolutely.
Trey?
No, thanks for coming. With the whole Life Choices thing, I know Devin has more history with it. He has history with using Life Choices and everything. I think it's a great program. You've been a part of the Men of Courage stuff. We went and we've done some collaborative work, whatever, or donations or whatever, to Life Choices. We appreciate what y'all do, but we would love to hear about what is it about? What is Life Choices? And how'd you become a part of that?
Sure. Well, first I want to say thank you guys for the partnership because the Ruston community, Lincoln Parish, and the surrounding parishes have totally embraced the ministry of Life Choices. We've been here. Next year will be our 30th year serving in Ruston. And so it's partnerships like with Men of Courage and our churches and other organizations that say, hey, we believe in what you do and we're going to come alongside you guys. And so thank you guys for that and for just allowing this platform so we can share more of the ministry. But so Life Choices is a pregnancy resource center. Way back in the day, they were called crisis pregnancy centers. Yeah. We typically don't use that term anymore, but pregnancy help organization where basically when a woman finds out she's in an unplanned pregnancy, and we serve dads too, so he's more than welcome to come.
Wow. But, I didn't even know that.
Yes, we have a fatherhood program, but they're welcome to walk in our doors and just talk to somebody about their story and about their fears and just be honest and open and real. And so we have trained staff that's there, ready. Yeah. We are a medical clinic. We're a 501c3, faith-based, nonprofit medical clinic. So we have a medical director that oversees all of our operations. We just love to serve in that what I call that uh-oh moment of what am I going to do? And because of our faith-based underpinnings and who we are and what we believe about the sanctity of human life, we talk to them about all their options, but understanding that the option of life is going to be the one that, you can live the rest of your life without regret.
Right. Yeah, it's a great thing. So they, where are y'all located at here?
Yeah, so we're at 606 Blue Lane. So we're on Farmerville Street, kind of near Green Clinic, the main Green Clinic office. And so we've been there now about 8 years in our new location. And I guess we still call it our new location, but we're still pinching ourselves because for the first 20-something years, we were across from First Baptist in a house, and that was a great history and such a blessing to have that space. But we do love our home over on Farmville Street.
Yeah. So what's the best way to contact y'all? I guess if someone is interested out here in doing that, like Life Choices, how do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. Our donor website is loveliferuston.com.
Okay.
And so that's the best way to find all of our contact information, to message us if you're interested in volunteering. Or volunteer opportunities are there in the application. If you want to donate, you can donate through that portal as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
And we'll have all that information in the show notes for y'all to go check out, so you don't have to try to memorize it. If you're anything like me, you're terrible at memorizing, and it's easier just to click on a button, so we'll have that available.
Perfect.
Yep.
But like Trey said, I have a little bit of history with Life Choices.
Yeah.
So I knew y'all from back in the old location across from First Baptist in the little house.
Yes.
Me and my wife, we were really young when our first child was born. I was actually still in high school.
Right.
He was actually a prom night baby. Yeah, we weren't exactly always Christ followers, but like you said, it was just this moment of like, man, what are we gonna do? We're kids about to have a kid,
Right.
and and I don't even remember how we got informed about Life Choices. I really don't. I know somebody had to have told us about it, but we go in there and like you said, the emphasis is on life, and I think that's so important because, especially in today's culture, it's abortion for any reason at any time, for whatever reason.
Right.
But not only that, but y'all have these classes that teach you how to be a parent.
Right.
It's not just, hey, make a decision for life and you go figure it out the rest. It's like, hey, let us walk with you, and that, we felt that as we went in. The workers there, they were super helpful. I didn't even know how to change a diaper.
Well, I would say most new parents don't know how to change a diaper, but yes, we do try to offer classes and wraparound services that help. Right? They empower you to feel like, okay, I can do this. This is not as scary as it may have seemed in that first moment. And one of the truths that we've realized is that the media conversation around the topic of abortion and the reality of what happens heart to heart with a young woman when you really are starting to have that conversation, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time when she walks in our doors, she doesn't want an abortion.
Right.
She is scared that's her only choice, because she's scared that the unplanned pregnancy that she suddenly is looking at is going to just wreck her world, and that there's no way through it. And so a lot of the times we don't find ourselves necessarily trying to talk her out of abortion, because there's something innate that God put inside of us,
Right.
that for taking care of our children, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but fear is powerful, and if we can meet her at that point in the middle of her story, in the middle of his story, and really talk through them and come along and support them, that oftentimes is the time that everything changes for her. So,
what did you have something for? Because I'll get off on a tangent.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So I like the fact that y'all are meeting them where they're scared, because like you said, that's a scary situation. But I guess, what is the process like for someone who comes in, doesn't know anything about this, and like you said, they think that their only option is abortion because they're coming into the situation where they're real scared? How do y'all, I guess, help them see that there's a choice beyond abortion, as opposed to choosing life?
Well, I think first and foremost it comes down to listening. Okay. Because if you can listen to someone and their fears and what's their story, right? What's really going on? Not just come in with this carte blanche answer, but to listen to where they are and then be able to meet them there and talk about that in real life terms. I think that's where the real magic is in the moment. For any woman who is in an unplanned pregnancy, she really doesn't need an answer. She needs someone.
Yeah. It just sounds like you really do a great job of counseling people.
Thank you.
As far as it's not really trying to meet force with force, but you're counseling and giving them life options. And so I did have a question about the faith-based thing, the reason why you do what you do.
Right.
Right. what is y'all like kind of standpoint on that? Like like why choose life? A lot of people like have questions about that. What's so important, and like why does human have that value?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Great question. So yeah, we are a faith-based organization. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
And really our roots come from, in any pregnancy help organization, roots come from the body of Christ, the collective body of Christ in an area saying, hey, we need a pregnancy help organization to be the specialist, so to speak, on this topic, and to stand in the gap for the church.
Yeah.
To meet women and men in this place.
Yeah.
And so we're commissioned, so to speak, by the local church, all the denominations that stand for the sanctity of human life. But we are commissioned by the local body to be that specialist in that area. And so taking that charge, that really comes from this idea of Imago Dei, that we're created in the image of God.
Yep.
And when we understand Imago Dei in its most basic format, then we know that at conception, life is just precious and beautiful and God ordained.
Yeah.
And
a gift. Yeah.
Yeah, a gift. And we stand in that gap in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I also did have a question about like the fatherhood thing. I was kind of unaware of that.
Yeah.
Is there like a difference, between, counseling? Obviously there is, but, can you explain like the difference between, if a father walks in and, whatever?
Yeah, let me give you some history a little bit too about how we got to the point of needing a fatherhood program. And I'm going to guess, Devin, when you came through, we did not have a man to actually meet with you. Is that
that is correct? Yeah.
Okay, I think it was shortly after that we
came through in 2009 or 2010,
and we probably instituted our fatherhood program around 2013, is my guess, if I'm going back in my history correctly. But we realized for a couple of things, men are the most influential decision influence on a woman who's trying to make a decision about whether or not she's going to choose abortion or choose life.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of times we were hearing her say, if he would just support me, then ...
Right.
And because she felt alone, and if he was going to check out, then she didn't know how she was going to do it. So we know his vote is super, super influential.
Yes.
The second thing that we know, too, is that healthy families have a dad.
Yeah.
That statistics tell us over and over and over that an intact family, statistically, those children do better in school, like all the things. And we go back to our faith, the underpinnings of our faith, that we understand God created the family and how he created that.
That's right.
And so we were having men come in to Life Choices, and a lot of times in the early days, they were sitting in the lobby while we took her back, and they were sitting there by themselves, and then she'd come out and she'd feel encouraged, but he had just sat there for an hour while we were pouring into her, and we were convicted that we had been given the opportunity to speak into his life too in that hour that he was sitting in our lobby, and what were we going to do with it, because we know he's important. And so that was we were able to implement a fatherhood program and hire a dad to be on staff with us at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit where our kind of work intertwines a little bit, because
that's right.
One of the things we do, this podcast is called Modern Day Messengers, but it's ran by Men of Courage, Lincoln Parish, which is the ministry that me and Trey run, but we're equipping men to be the men that God called us to be. And one of the things we talk about that is so important is that fatherhood, and being that leader of the family, because there's a statistic that if the husband or father comes to Christ first, there's a 94% chance the family will follow.
Absolutely.
If it's the wife, what is it, a 38% chance?
17.
Is it that low?
17%.
Okay, 17%, and then if it's a child, it's
3.5%.
3.5%.
Yeah.
So the man has a huge influence on not only the spiritual health, but just the physical health, the family health, and all that. Yeah. And we know if we can equip men to be the men that God called us to be, there's things where, like, if we have these uh-ohs, or if it's a planned pregnancy or whatever the case may be, if their wife, or if it's like my situation where we weren't married, but if if they can submit to God and say, hey, we're going to choose life for this child, we're going to raise this child in the fear and admonition of the Lord, that it just makes a big difference. Not only does the whole family prosper, but I mean, it bleeds out into the community.
Absolutely. And, it's when we were talking before we started, one of the things that I mentioned was we love stories of redemption.
Yeah.
So we love when years later we get to interact with someone and they say, hey, we came through life choices and thank you for this, thank you for that. And I was looking at statistics the other day. We are at like 13,000 women that we have served in our 30 years. And so God has poured out his blessing on that, and we have been able to see some stories of redemption that only he can do. So thank you for sharing your story, because I think that's the encouragement that we get as staff doing, because it's hard. Listening and being in the hard crisis moment day in and day out is difficult and takes a toll on you. But we know God's still in the redemptive work, and we love it when we get to see those stories later on.
And just touching on like what you said earlier about the fear and everything. So like me and my wife, we weren't married at the time, but we had, I'll say it like this, we had an unplanned pregnancy from our perspective. But I believe that God uses, babies are such a gift.
Yeah.
But a long story short, I had a dream that she was pregnant, and then I was like, it was so real. We went to go get a pregnancy test the next day, and she was pregnant, and it was just crazy. And but I actually I've never witnessed it really before or anything, because I haven't been involved in anything like that. But the fear, she was sitting down on my swing, and she was like, what do I do? What do I do? She was just like, do I need to get rid of it? And I was, and to see that, she was in that panic mode. But you talked about the presence of a dad or a father, right? And the decision, and inherently, I grew up in church and everything. This is before I came to Christ and everything, but I knew that baby had value.
Yeah.
And I just sat her down, and if I would have known about life choices, probably then we would probably came to y'all. But I was, long story short, I was on drugs. So
Wow. Yeah.
anyway, so I wasn't really in the right mind, but I knew that baby it needed to be taken care of. And so I sat her down, and we weren't married. And so I was like, look, I'm not going anywhere. We're not going to make any rash decisions. I'm like, we have to live with this. And we have a beautiful boy. We eventually had we actually had a planned one by us. And so I got 2 little boys now, and but talking about that fear, it is a very real thing, and it needs to be guided.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
And a couple of things that I would point out from your story is, I think, to encourage our pastors and our youth leaders and our college leaders to talk about the sanctity of human life, because there was a seed planted, even though you weren't a Christ follower.
Right.
There was a seed planted about the value of life there that sprouted when you needed it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so I would definitely encourage those who have those positions of influence not to give up, because in this culture where the media and I call it the political noise of the abortion issue is so loud.
Yes.
Truth is still truth.
Yeah, right.
And when it blooms at the right time in the right place, it really is powerful. So
it is.
And you're right. Fear. There was a song on Christian radio about 6 or 7 years ago. Fear is a liar.
Fear is a liar. Exactly.
And man, there's so much truth to that, because fear does make us do some pretty wild things sometimes that we wouldn't do if we were not
that's right.
panic mode.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's a great song. I sing that one in the prison sometimes.
Yeah, when we do prison ministry, that's like one of our guys' favorite songs. They love that song.
Oh wow!
First time they heard it, they don't have the luxury of being at a church with words on the screen where you can sing along. So they had to learn it first few times, and now anytime you go in there, you got all the inmates singing it. It's awesome.
That's cool.
But I liked what you pointed out about the leadership. If you have that influence as pastors, because I'll preface that by saying we are not against any woman who has ever had an abortion. Actually, we believe that if a woman has had abortion, the same grace that was offered for me and my depravity is
absolutely.
the same grace that is offered to her. And God loves you. He chose you. He called you by name. And just because your sin looked different than my sin, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, does not mean God died any less for what you did than what I did.
100%. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because, one of the accusations of the pro-life movement, particularly in the early days, was, well, you don't care about the woman, you just care about saving the baby. Gosh, I've been now in this ministry for 17 years, and I'll tell you, our heart is as much for her as it is for that child, and we believe in the redemptive grace for her, and we tell women all the time, hey, even if you choose abortion, we're always here for you, and we do have a post-abortion recovery ministry. That I think is super valuable.
Yeah. If you really are going to follow Christ and the example that He put, then you have to be for His children, whether that be an infant, a fetus, to a 99-year-old, whatever person, womb to tomb. We are not to cause to shame a person who has fallen into sin. That is the people that Christ died for. He said in His ministry that the doctor doesn't heal the healthy. He came to heal the sick. And we're all sick. We're all wretched, depraved, black-hearted sinners in need of a Savior. It doesn't matter what your flavor of sin is, whether it's, you've had an abortion, whether it's whether it's nicotine, whether it's alcohol, whether it's, gossip, whatever the case may be. That is the same depravity that God came to deliver from it. So.
Hold on a second. All right, now.
I thought you was pointing something like
no, but I was like, I need to cough real quick. So I was like,
you're good.
I wanted to break it up in between thoughts.
That's right. Yeah, that's perfect.
But so I mean, like I said, just to preface that, but we're definitely not against anybody. We want all women to get help, and especially with the men's thing that they have, learn about this, learn why life is so precious. It doesn't have to be this wall of fear where you don't think you have an option because you don't know anything.
Right.
Life Choices offers that resource. But if you don't mind, and I know you may not be able to mention any names or nothing, but is there any success stories that you can, if I can speak right, can share with us that just stick out to you that are just man, Life Choices did this?
Yeah. Gosh, I've been doing this 17 years, as I mentioned earlier, and so and Life Choices has been around for 30. So yes, there are now adults, who are success stories, right? Who say, my mom came to Life Choices when she was pregnant with me and things like that. One in particular that stands out, occasionally we'll get invited by churches in the area to speak at, a Sunday night service or something like that, and to share who we are and how to get involved, much like what we're doing today. And one Sunday evening service, this little girl about 6 or 7 years old, after the service came and grabbed my leg. And so anyway, and I was visiting with somebody, and then her parents walked up and they said, I don't know if you remember us or not. And anyway, as they kept talking, this was the child that they were pregnant with, and they were in college at that point, and it was unplanned and all of the things, but just the tangible, that this child hanging onto my leg. Now, I didn't meet with them. It wasn't, she wasn't my particular client or anything, but I do remember them being around and attending parenting classes and all those things like you had spoken about. But it's just sometimes when the tangible innocence of a child like that, and you're like, okay, Lord, it's all worth it. And then we have another young lady who, her mom came through, and now she's nearing that somewhere around 20-year mark, 20 years old or so. But every year on her birthday, she would collect diapers for Life Choices. She would have her friends bring diapers for Life Choices, and then she would bring them up there, and it was really sweet. I mean, she started that when she was 6 or 7, and just to know that what we call a Life Choices baby was really sweet. And so,
Wow.
yeah, there's all those little tangible reminders. Sometimes I know things in when I see people that are still secrets, probably, but it's okay.
Right.
And I just have to smile and go, thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be a part of this journey.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's really cool. So.
Absolutely.
So, did you have another question, or you look like you
Well,
I want to cut you off?
I do have a question, but it might be like kind of unrelated to where you're going.
Okay, well, I'll just go with mine first. So, obviously, the line of work you do, like the highs are super high, like they're great.
Yeah.
But I imagine the lows are pretty low.
Lows are hard.
And so,
Okay, well, that's
y'all
where
are
I was going.
y'all are having to delve into some pretty dark areas of people's life.
Yeah.
And and I'm sure there's other struggles associated with all of it. But what are some struggles or some challenges that Life Choices has, going into this line of work, like? Whether that be financial, whether that be the employees having to get into these dark areas and it affecting them, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I would say the hardest thing that we face is the emotional toil of day in, day out, walking through crisis with someone, and whether that's I'll tell this story. The nurse manager that we had for a number of years, she's no longer at Life Choices. She's at one of our national organizations now, serving nationally, because pregnancy centers, we're one of 3,000 pregnancy centers across the United States. So
Right.
just to put that out there, what we do is all over the country. But when Kelly was our nurse, and she did an ultrasound, and I walked into the lab right after she had finished an ultrasound, or kind of in between, and she had this look on her face, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she just burst into tears.
Yep.
And I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "That was the most beautiful, perfect picture of a baby." And this was through sobs, and I was and I was like, what, okay. And I didn't understand. And then it clicked. I was like, she's abortion determined. And she said, yeah. She said she was so hard that even the ultrasound, and typically the ultrasound is a changing point for a lot of women.
Sure.
But even that ultrasound, she was still so hard. And she's like, I've got to have an abortion. There's nothing. And I said, this is hard for you because you just saw probably the only picture of that child on this side of eternity.
Right.
And she said, that's it. I'm one of the only people that will see this this image of this child on this side of eternity, and that's hard to hold.
Yeah, right.
And so when you think of it, it really is life and death every day. And you're at that point, and sometimes you're able to walk with that woman and walk with that man to a point where they choose life, and sometimes they don't. And that's a hard thing to hold.
Yeah. It actually it kind of was one of my questions of like some of the dangers of like abortions, because it's like it's something that's a part of you, and I know that research shows that like even like the cells of the child remain in the mother's body even after birth, after an abortion, they remain there. And you talk about the psychological stuff that happens and everything. And I guess my question is like, what are some of like, I guess the general dangers of, choosing non-life, because there are some.
There are. Post-abortion syndrome is probably what we would refer to. Now, there's been some debate in the psychology field about whether or not that's real or not.
Right.
My master's in clinical social work, and
Sure.
I'd tell you it is very real.
Yeah.
And so, but I think the research tells you, I think suicide rates are higher, depression rates are higher. There's just a lot of things. And one of the most poignant moments that I remember walking with a woman is she came back in, because we say even if you choose abortion, you can come back in and see us if you need to talk to someone. And so they scheduled me to see her. We knew she was post-abortive. And so I walked into the room, and she was sitting on the couch and she was in the fetal position.
Yeah.
And she had her hands around her knees, and she was rocking back and forth. And she said, "I just want my baby back."
Yeah. Right.
And it just sobbing.
Right.
And no one, and we hear this statement over and over too. No one tells you
Right.
this, that, and
Right.
it just this is the magic. Here, take these pills and it'll all be over and life will be back to normal.
Right.
But very rarely do we hear a story where everything is normal. It's typically loss. It's
Right.
typically the trauma of the abortion experience itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so, it's hard and it's dark.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's very dark, and I've heard cases and everything. I don't know, people have probably seen it online about doctors prescribing abortions, and it's brutal and like it's very traumatic, and it's just experience that death on like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I know I don't have any kind of study or any kind of degree in this. It's all like just kind of self-taught by listening and having conversations with people, but I know the psychological, it's very critical, like in a negative way. I mean, honestly, and I'm sure y'all see a lot of that. But you were talking about the pills and stuff,
Yes.
I see it's like Plan B. I see that kind of stuff, and then there's people like online that you can get stuff and everything, and
Yeah.
and what's that like?
Yeah. Okay. So Plan B is a little different.
Yeah.
But so I'm glad you brought up the pills, because I was going to talk about the psychological effects of
Right.
taking an abortion pill versus surgical abortion. And now 70 to 80% of all abortions today
Yeah.
are by the abortion pill. They'll call it a medication abortion, abortion pill, chemical abortion. It goes by 1,000 names. Sometimes they're called missed period pills. I mean, it's just got
Sure.
a lot of names associated
Right.
with it. But psychologically, what we know to be true is that women are struggling more with this of them putting the pill in their mouth and actually self-inducing the abortion versus
Right.
the psychological aspect of a doctor doing the abortion. It's
Right.
like, I did this versus a doctor doing this to
Right.
my baby. And so some of the aftermath of that we're seeing, and I think we're going to be wrestling with that for a long time, and thinking in 15, 20, 30 years from now, we'll still be talking about the self-induced portion of abortion and what
Right.
that means psychologically for a woman. But yeah, 70 to 80% are coming in, or abortion pills, or 70 to 80% of all abortions are done by abortion pills these days, and those are coming through the mail.
Yeah.
And on any given day, there's about 80 websites that are active in mailing abortion pills into states, even like Louisiana, where abortion is illegal. And that's been very interesting for us to
Right.
adjust our services, because it's there's a 2 to 3 day window, if that, when she finds out that she's pregnant, and she can have the abortion pills in her mailbox.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But ultimately, as you were describing that, so I didn't even know about that, and I'm not like super familiar with all the medication and like everything, but it seems like, I mean, ultimately, I know it's like, it is kind of crazy to think about like the difference between like, I have to take this pill at home or I go somewhere and do it. But ultimately it's like that choice, like, but of life or not life. But I could see how if you're sitting at the house, it would be very hard to like make yourself do that. It's a big choice. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it from that perspective.
I didn't.
That they have to live with the choice that they made. Because,
Yes.
I mean, it's like you said, I physically did this. Like, I am the reason this child is not alive. It's not, I can't even blame the doctor for it, because I
Right.
want to put these.
Exactly.
And I can see where down the line that's going to cause a lot of psychological and emotional issues. And just like, and man, just to reiterate, man, there is grace for you. Like, there is a Jesus that loves you. And
100%.
And like, obviously, Jesus does not want you to choose abortion, and neither do we.
Yeah.
But at the same token, he still wants you to come to him. Like, there's still forgiveness in that.
Yeah.
And I know we've said that, and I'll probably say it till I'm blue in the face. But I just don't want anybody to watch us and say, "Oh, they're just bashing people who've had an abortion." That is absolutely not what we're doing.
Right.
We just want to speak truth to a depravity.
Right.
And
And I can't talk about the abortion pill without talking about abortion pill reversal, because that is such a gift for a woman who has immediate regret. And we see that often where there's pressure from either someone in her life, like the father of the baby or a
Yeah, right.
parent, to take the abortion pill. And then she immediately regrets it. And
Right.
so Life Choices is one of hundreds abortion pill reversal providers in the
Wow.
United States, and part of a network where if a woman changes her mind, see, the abortion pill is a 2-pill process. And so the first pill blocks progesterone when she takes it, and then the second pill is supposed to be taken 72 hours later. But
Yeah.
after that first pill, if she has regret and she wants to attempt to reverse that, we have a progesterone regimen in our office that we, through standing orders of our
Right.
medical director, that we can administer to her. And we know that abortion pill reversal is about 65 to 68% effective and
Wow.
successful. And so
That's a big number, yeah.
and it's hope,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And so we definitely want to talk about abortion pill reversal, and that's that's an easy Google to get the national hotline to talk to someone 24/7,
Yeah.
and get connected to the closest provider to you. And so, I remember one Mother's Day morning before church, in my church clothes, the nurse and I were at Life Choices, meeting a young woman who on Saturday night had taken the pill and had
Yeah.
changed her mind overnight and contacted the hotline. And so I couldn't think of a better thing to be doing on Mother's Day
that is,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
before
yeah.
church and then helping a woman
Yeah.
reverse that decision.
Yeah, well, that's
thank
amazing.
God,
I didn't
thank
even
God
I
for
didn't,
that decision.
I didn't even know about that, to be honest. That's amazing to hear, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't want to stay in the depravity side.
Yeah, the
of it too long.
downside of things.
I want to kind of be positive, because I mean, most of the work y'all do, like I said, we know that you have to dive into that life, but also what y'all do, it just brings so much joy, not only to the families but to the mothers, to the community, everything. One of the questions I wanted to ask, and I've heard this before, and I just want to get it from, I guess, in your own words. When a mother or expected mother goes in for that first ultrasound, what does that do in her decision when she's considering abortion?
Oh, goodness. Well, there is something beautiful about life in the womb. And there, again, I mentioned this. God gives us that innate mothering already, that it's there, and to see your child on the screen for the first time is very powerful.
Yeah.
And technology allows us, oh gosh, to see some of the most beautiful pictures and ultrasounds.
Yeah.
And so we love being in that moment where they get to see their child for the very first time and see the heartbeat and see the movement and go, okay, this is life, and this is my child.
That's right.
And it's powerful.
Yeah.
If you, I guess, if you had to take a guess, I know you don't have probably the exact statistic. What would you, do you think that provides, or how many times does that kind of sway the mother's mind to choose life?
So we know that 80% of women who are considering abortion will change their mind after having an ultrasound.
Oh, you do know the statistic.
I do know the
so
statistic.
much smarter than me.
Then
I'd have to have that wrote down.
we know that statistic, and that's one of the reasons that pregnancy centers have moved to being medical and have an ultrasound available inside, and through partnerships like Focus on the Family, put in our most recent. They've granted us our most recent ultrasound machine, so we can be a part of that life-changing statistic of women seeing their babies and changing their minds.
That's great. That's great that y'all offer that over there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Just thinking about the ultrasounds that I've been to, with my two, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to just see them move and they look like little alien things, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just, I guess, because I don't know if we've exactly mentioned this, we've kind of weaved in and out of a lot of the subjects. For expected mother, whether, whatever her decision she's thinking it may be, and say she wants to come to Life Choices, does she have to have insurance? Does she have to have a payment? Like, what are the financial or medical or insurance burdens that are going to be on
Right.
that family, or is it a service that y'all offer through 501c3 or?
Right. Great question. All of our services that are pregnancy related are absolutely 100% free. So in all of our wraparound services, the only thing that we do charge for are our STI testing and treatment services.
Okay.
But everything related to an unplanned pregnancy and that visiting and participating in wraparound services are 100% free. And that's because our community comes around us and our churches come around us so well
Yeah.
and provide the funding for those things.
That is awesome, and we've talked about this on this podcast a lot. That is what we call being the hands and feet of
right.
Jesus. Like it's, and I have such a pet peeve about the prayer hands. Like if you see a prayer request on Facebook and people put prayer hands, like prayer hands do nothing. But being the hands and feet of Jesus. Like if you're actually going to pray, don't put prayer hands. Or I mean, you can, but actually pray.
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
just getting involved in such a community, something that causes so much of an impact, like life choices, man. That is, like you said, literally being the hands and feet of Jesus. Like these places cannot function without the support from their communities and people. And man, I can't think of a better mission to get behind. That's why when we have our men's conferences, a portion of what we make from the conferences goes to life choices. It's just because we believe in it so much. It's
Absolutely.
like this is the number one issue for us.
Yeah.
Well, number one is making a decision for Christ, but then
Right.
life.
Right. What's the foundation for the mission, right? But you're right. It was crazy. Like after our men's event, we had we got the board. We had a meeting after the event, and it was just like a no questions asked. Like this extra money that we're going to put aside was going to Life Choices. I mean, it was just across the board. It was yes. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So y'all definitely get involved with Life Choices or your local pregnancy center. If you're not watching this from our community, like she said, 3,000 across the nation.
Yeah, and 28 in Louisiana. So
Look,
That's crazy.
we're awesome at something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
No, but just like I said, just be the hands and feet. Get involved in that mission. It's so important. Like there may be a life that hangs in the balance because of your faithfulness to donate to that ministry.
Yeah.
That may be the difference between them being able to provide a can of formula for an expected mother to have to go out and figure something else out. Like you may not think that your contribution or your prayer or your financial help helps out, but every little bit goes to help that mission. And man,
that's right. And we have a lot of monthly supporters that give $30, $40, $50 a month just faithfully, and just the little bit of and the faithful gift over and over and over every month means that we keep going, and everybody's little bit makes it possible. And so thank you for that encouragement, because it does make a difference.
Yep. Well, we appreciate it, and we definitely want to be respectful of your time. We've enjoyed it. I know we could ask about 1 million more questions.
Yeah.
And I could sit here and talk about this kind of stuff all day because I'm just so passionate about the work that y'all do.
Thank you.
But is there any last things that you want to speak about, or things that we didn't get to weave in and out of?
Oh goodness. Well, again, I think it's just so important for our churches to speak up on this topic, because the political noise is loud.
Yeah, for sure.
And I will often tell people, we'll have groups that come through and tour, and sometimes they're secular groups, right? And you have a mix of people that believe different ways about the pro-life issue that'll come through and tour, and I'll remind, I'll say this, I'm like, your local pregnancy center is not the same as the hot topic political issue that you're hearing on the news. And I think we can all agree that helping women in that moment is really important. And so I would just encourage our churches to keep speaking truth into that. And I would encourage those who are maybe on the fence about this topic to really understand that it's bigger than a political issue. It really is a heart issue, and most of the time, women don't want to choose abortion. Most of the time, they need to know they're not alone. And I think a lot more of us can agree that we don't want someone to feel alone.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Totally agree.
Well, Trey, you have anything else?
No, not at all. But I do want to just say thank you for watching to all the viewers of Modern Day Messenger. We have Miss Kathleen Richard here with us today. And go check out Life Choices. Check us out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Spotify, whatever else we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Black Rifle Coffee and W Energy, for if you need coffee or if you need some pre-workout, whatever.
If you go to wenergy.com, get your order, type in the promo code New Life, NEWLIFE, all caps, no spaces. You get a 10% off your total order. But more important than that, make sure to check out our show notes for everything Life Choices related.
Yep.
Pray about getting involved and donating to that ministry and just helping them be that voice that helps these women and fathers choose life and know that they're not alone, and they don't have to be fearful of the unknown, that they have people that walk hand to feet with them.
Yep. All right. We'll see you on the next episode.
Y'all have a blessed day.
thanks.